Okay, let me see if I can start this again. Okay, so I was telling you about how we got to Kongan. And so I had this dream, and then I prayed this prayer. And I said, Lord, if you want us to go to Kongan, please let someone contact us from Kongan. Well, in a few minutes, Bill said, or maybe it was the next morning, I think it was the next morning, Bill called me into the office area and said, Julie, somebody contacted us from Kongan. I'm like, really? I just prayed that somebody would contact us from Kongan. I think it was that day. Yeah, so that day, somebody contacted us from Kongan. And it was a missionary that we had met when we came up here for a crusade. But I don't even remember meeting him. Somehow we got his email address. I have no idea how that happened because I don't even remember meeting him. Maybe Bill put him on our list or something. Back in those days, when you sent an email out, you would attach, like if you wanted to send an email to many, many people, you would attach it and you would say all their addresses in the to box. Email was kind of different back then than it is now. So we had sent a prayer letter out to a number of people on our list, asking them for prayer. And this man in Kongan had seen our prayer letter and had also looked up at the all the addresses that we sent out, and he saw somebody's name that he knew, and that was really strange to him. And so he contacted us and said, "Do you know this brother? I know him, and I used to know him in Arizona, and do you know where he is?" And asking us all these questions about this other missionary. And of course we did know him. And so he wrote on the very end of the letter, he said, "By the way, if you would like to come to Kongan, I'm ready to do the crusade ministry again. You have a team, we have equipment. Let's talk about doing something." Okay, that was the most random, amazing confirmation that we have probably ever had. And so we thought, okay, this is probably it. Okay, but let's go up to Kongan and check it out first. So we come to Kongan, and we stay with this couple, and we look for houses, but we couldn't find any houses. And we looked for a whole week, and then we were just really discouraged and just felt like, well, maybe we missed it on the timing, and maybe this is not what we're supposed to do. Let's just go home. So actually we had planned to stay 2 weeks, but we decided to go home after only 1 week because we were tired of looking at houses. And we were just, well, maybe we missed it. We're not coming here. It was just like, we're not coming here. And we got in the car and we went home. And about an hour out, an hour and a half out, we had a wreck. We had an accident with a motorcycle. And no one was hurt. We were in an intersection, and the light turned green, and we started easing out into the intersection, and this kid who was borrowing his brother's motorcycle decided that he would try to make the light, how you do. The light was turning red, the light was red, and he thought he could probably go ahead. And he was just a kid. He actually was borrowing his brother's motorcycle, and he didn't have a license. And we hit him. He flew over our car to a grassy mound in the middle of the road, which, by the way, there is only one grassy mound between here and Bangkok. And that's where he fell, and he was fine. He wasn't hurt at all. But our car was messed up. And so we had to go to the police station, and we had to deal with our car. He had to fix our car. Well, because of all that, we had to call the missionary back and say, well, I guess we're not going back to Sriracha, which is near Bangkok, which was our home. Can you come get us? So he got in his truck and drove down an hour or so and picked us up and took us back. And while our car was getting fixed in Muang Pun, we stayed another week with this family. And while we were there, we found a house. Things worked out. We were able to, get everything set up so we could come back here and live. We went back down, got our car, went down to where we lived, packed, and within a week we were back up here. We moved our team, everything up here, and we started doing crusades. So that's how we started here, and then after that we started at the church in khon. So the rest is history, but I felt like we were on Balaam's mule. If you remember the story of Balaam, he went down, he was sent. He wasn't really supposed to go, but he went. And then he went down to the Moabite king, and he wanted to do his own way, the way he wanted to do it, and his mule stopped. And he was all mad because his mule stopped, and he's hitting his mule, and actually the mule saw the angel, even though he didn't see the angel, and he was really mad at his donkey and spoke to his donkey very gruffly, and then his donkey actually spoke back to him, if you remember the story. Well, I felt like I was Balaam, and my car was Balaam's mule, and it wasn't going to go anywhere further, and I was going to do God's will. So that's the story of how we had the wreck, and it actually put us on the right track. Even though it was expensive and we had to get our car fixed and, take time. But I love this song my dad sings about Balaam's mule. It says, his mule ever faithful spoke at the right time and made him willing God's voice to obey. So I think that our car was our mule, and we surrendered to God's will because we had to stop when we got into the wreck. And so I don't believe God causes us to have problems, but if we do have problems, he definitely uses them for his glory if we're in his kingdom and called according to his purposes. So that's the story of how we got to khon. Okay, love you. Bye.